There we go. Welcome to the show, everybody. How are you? Good day, good afternoon, good Thursday to you. Thanks for hanging in there and understanding on Thursdays when I have family FaceTime because I moved the show. This is the one day I moved the show. And so I appreciate you guys' flexibility and understanding about that. If you're new to the show, you might have been going, where's he been for an hour? And that's where I was. We have a family FaceTime scheduled in my family at 3 o'clock my time every Thursday. And so rather than move that when this show started, I just decided to punt the show an hour. So there we go. That answers the question. It's something you should do. Also, we'll get into some of the Silicon Valley argument today, I have no doubt, because we must increase our bust. Yeah, my hair's a little wild because I was running around a bit. I apologize. I went to the gym and I didn't get a chance to wash it afterwards. So it's very Steve Perry. It's hanging a little it's almost like I used a straightener on it, which I didn't. So Hal, I hope you didn't ruin your singing voice doing Alex Jones. Pretty close. If I do that very often, I need to find a filter that does it. I might have to make an Alex Jones audio filter for myself, like mild pitch shift, add some gravel, and so that I could just use that, so I don't have to damage myself, imitating that asshole. Because honestly, if you're, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I'm not imitating Alex Jones when I do that. I'm mocking him. Yeah. Love Steve Perry, beautiful, beautiful voice. I completely agree. It should have been gone.
Sorry, I'm having trouble.
All right, I know. Knowing how I made you feel. All right, I got to shut the door too because the cat's going to come in because they're going to think I'm injured. All right. Every time I sing, the cat goes, "Are you okay?" I have Thulsa Doom hair. That's so great. I made you, boy. That is power. You killed my parents. You just killed my people. You took my father's sword. Ah, yes. The riddle of steel, boy. And then I can do my impersonation of him turning into a snake. All right, that's all I'm giving you. In high school, this is CNN, boy. This is that was in high school. I would do in high school I would do an impersonation of James Earl Jones as Thulsa Doom turning into a snake, and that's the first time I've done it since. You know it, don't you, boy? Yeah, absolutely. All right, so there's a lot to talk about, no doubt, today. I was looking for something right before I came on the air, and I've yet to find it by itself. Oh, maybe this is it. Is this the whole thing?
Campaign joining.
Hold on. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. You gotta love, it's funny, because I feel like myself and a bunch of other people are always battling copyright hits and crap like that when especially on my show, I'm doing very obvious commentary about what's going on in these clips. And frankly, in the name of free speech and free association and freedom of opinion, the idea that I cite this thing directly as opposed to going, I saw a video and they said this, and getting myself into trouble, showing the actual video and then commenting on it directly is legally safer. It's smarter. It's more indicative. You can judge better for yourself if I am indeed telling the truth. All those things. So that when I play a video from Fox News or something like that, there's a sort of a standard to the idea that I'm commenting on this source, and my commentary on that source should be within the legal bounds of somebody showing you directly, as if I was sitting right with you and playing something that's on the television and telling you as a person, even if you paid to be in my house, whatever that is, there's a name for that. As I showed you what was on television, talked about it, technically speaking, I'm not making money off what's on the TV because they're selling their ads and they're doing their thing, and that's part of it, whatever. What's really the exchange that's going on is between people about what my opinion is and what I think. So if anything, there's this whole thing about like, do you, add value to your stream using their stuff is one of the kind of weird nebulous ways of describing sort of copyright law around this stuff. And in reality, I would say the opposite is true. I would say 32K in chat. Now, I don't think we have that many, but we definitely have 32K in subscribers now. Yay. So I personally think that Fox owes me money is what I'm saying. I'm forever going to take sort of a Gene Simmons approach to this, whatever it is, I'm copywriting it. So Trump came on Hannity, and I think he just called in. I think it's bizarre. He didn't stay on the whole fucking time, does he? Jesus, he's got to bail out at some point. Yeah, no, he's there. Okay. Ick. I reserve the right to bail on this if it's boring as fuck, because it very well might be. But this is him moments away. Oh, I can feel my nipples are getting hard. Is it evident through the shirt? Moments away. We're all at Twitter about it.
Live on the phone. He's the 45th president of the United States.
I guess technically it's a title if you want to do that, but it was past tense. We're on the 46th now.
Donald J. Trump.
Oh, is there an echo? Sorry. Why would there be?
With us, Mr. President. Great to have you back. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. Thank you, Sean.
Yesterday, inflation rose to its highest number in 41.
In 81 years. No, it didn't do that yesterday. They announced this yesterday. And we continue.
Years, 8.5%. When you left office, it was 1.4%.
Yes, which is fucked up. It was cratering. Nobody could move goods. Businesses were vanishing.
We learned wholesale prices are at the high.
Oh, yeah. So Sean Hannity was doing this horrible sibilance whistle. Say, somebody's got a bear stuck in a hole. I swear to God, nobody's gonna hold on. The poo stuck. If you'll recall, this is when poo was stuck in Rabbit's hole. Oh my God. And let's see. I don't know if there's a. Oh, hold on. There you go. Mini adventures. There he is. Where's the guy? Okay, can't get him out. And they call the guy, and then the thing. Oh, and they knock him out with. Oh wait, this is no. It is part of this. I love that he's like tries to make art out of his ass in this. There's so much to this that's just so fucking weird. He just tried to put a frame around his butt. Like, this is classic. And he even draws on his butt and puts antlers on it, tries to make it like a mantle. It's just so, and then he sneezes or something and it wipes it out. And then the dude comes, oh, wait, where's the guy who's like, yeah, I hear you got a bear stuck in a hole. This is the mini adventure. So this is the edited version of it. Anyways, so this is whenever I do that, the gopher comes over and I go, hey, somebody's got a bear stuck in a hole. That's where that comes from. All right. And Sean and Ted Nugent have the gopher have the gopher whistle.
They've never been at 11.2%. When you left office, it was 1.6%. The price of an average gallon of gasoline when you left office was $2.42.
And no one was going anywhere.
And now, well, I paid this weekend $4.79 a gallon to fill up my own tank. What Mr. President, in a little over a year?
What happened in a little over a year? I mean, pretend that the war that you helped foment isn't going on, and also that we have a rubber band effect on the entire world's economy, including no one was using petroleum, so much so that the atmosphere was better than it had ever been. And yet, because of the lack of planes flying, the lack of particulates in the atmosphere actually was making the Earth heat up faster, which is a fascinating aspect of air travel, which is, I mean, in the IPCC report, it's one of the most hilarious aspects of it. But yeah, so we were going nowhere and doing nothing. Now we're going everywhere and trying to do everything all at once. That might affect prices. It might.
Well, I think a lot has to do with the fact that the energy, you talk about the barrel price or the price per gallon for cars.
For cars? Yes, I buy my cars by the gallon. What?
Energy, you talk about the barrel price or the price per gallon for cars. It's so.
Yeah, that's how we talk about it. You know, we human being people, Americans who do things.
We actually had it down to about $1.87 a gallon, and now it's, you may have gotten $4, but you made a great deal because it's $5, $6, and even $7 in some places. Like
I negotiated. I followed your lead.
You made a great deal.
Good negotiator. I know that. Take a look at your contract. So I think that
look at these people walking. That's what they want for us. They want us to get rid of our big trucks and walk everywhere. Oh, what's that big truck in the background?
I mean, I just think that the energy is such a big factor, and it's driving everything else up. And we are stopping production and closing up wells, and we're going to Venezuela.
No, we're not.
And we're asking them. We're going to a dictator that everybody was supposed to despise, and we're asking them for oil. And
I'm sorry. Did you guys get the everybody's supposed to despise Maduro memo? I mean, I guess let's just assume he's giving the order now.
I call it, we have liquid gold right under our feet, Sean, and we're going to other countries. We're getting it from indirect.
Texas tea is how we refer to it. Black gold, not liquid gold. The liquid gold would just be molten gold.
We're getting it from Russia because it is indirect, but it's still coming out of Russia and at numbers that
it's indirect because China's buying it at numbers no one could ever
gotten before. By the way, we have
again. What the fuck does that mean? At numbers no one's ever got before. By the way, everything's worse than it's ever been until it's worse even than that. If hyperbole was a wildfire, the earth would have burned up 2 years ago.
Create a tremendous amounts of oil and gas and let it be clean. And the environment my last year was record-setting clean.
Yeah, it was because there was zero output. Like cars weren't going anywhere, planes weren't flying, boats weren't moving. It's amazing how the atmosphere cleans up when none of that shit is happening.
Water and air. If you look at the air, it was record-setting. You look at the water, it was record-setting.
Yeah, this is record-setting water. It was like, I'm starting to think, wait a minute. I think there's 3 hydrogen atoms in this. Just 2 still? Amazing. How do they do it? Did they add an extra oxygen? I think this is H2O2. It's just too tasty. No, what happened? Oh, no ships are sailing, and therefore there's nothing on the Mississippi, and therefore bilge pumps aren't emptying into our drinking water? Oh, I see.
Yet we weren't stopping businesses from functioning.
No, COVID was taking care of that for you.
Mr. President, I asked you about this the last time you were on, but it's more relevant even today, and that is Joe Biden inherited an America that was energy independent.
We still are.
inherited America that was a net exporter of energy. As I said,
we still are.
When you left, the average price of gas around the country, including all the taxes, was $2.42 a gallon. We're now setting record high after record high in terms of a gallon of gasoline. And you made a good point here. He put all these policies in place, killed the Keystone XL pipeline.
Yeah, that doesn't stop the actual stuff from getting to market. It just speeds it up. There's already a Keystone pipeline. This is the XL, the extra large one. Think of it as Nord Stream 2 for Canadian tar sands oil.
The Alberta Premier said we'd be literally 900,000 barrels of Canadian oil by now would be flowing into our country every day, which would be a good...
No, through our country, fucko. We don't get to keep it.
...deal for America at this point.
No, it wouldn't. What do you think? What do you think? There's a proximity price on shit?
We wouldn't need to import oil as Joe did last year from Russia and Iran. But I want to get into...
Did Joe do this? Let's see. This is February 21st, 2022. Can Iran's oil save American motorists? We may be about to see a surge in oil from Iran. Oh, we haven't already? I thought we already. We already? That's the hope, at least, surrounding talks in Vienna aiming to revive the... Hi. How are you? Oh, thanks. Thank you, my love. A beverage. You brought me a beverage. It's wonderful. I just started, so do you want to order food soon?
Sure. Also, I forgot, we have what tonight?
We have what tonight? Ew. Oh, right. Blech. Well, I really, I'd love to, but I got a thing.
Go out.
Yeah. Okay. Not a problem. Whatever you need me for, I love you. Huh? I know. I want to be with you. There you go. Excuse us. This happens. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Love you. I'm not hungry, but if you want to order something.
Yeah, would you like anything else?
No, not particularly. But if you want to order something, just.
I'll snap in.
Yeah. Like it. Okay. See, we worked it out. See it like that. Yeah. Don't leave Alice cute. Oh, thanks. So we may be about to see a surge in oil from Iran. That's the hope, at least, surrounding talks in Vienna aiming to revive the 2015 nuclear deal, also known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Yeah. We'll buy your oil if you promise not to make a nuke. Seems like a pretty good deal to me. Sanctions on Iran were first removed in 2016. Right, we went back on or whatever. That could reverse some of the recent rise in crude prices and take pressure off motorists faced with the highest fuel price. Okay. Again, it's been going on for months. Yeah, Russia's pulled out of that, and we're just talking to everybody else now. On the other side of the table, major differences remain on what's required to roll back their nuclear advantage, which allowed it to enrich uranium to weapons-grade levels and near the threshold of becoming a nuclear state during the Trump years because he got out of the deal, which was stopping them from doing that. But hey, adult shit. All right, so I'm sure more lies.
What the solution is, they won't even consider going back to and adopting your successful policies. And I want to hone in on...
Oh, you mean the policy of telling Russia and Saudi Arabia to lower production? Because that's the only active part of the policy he had anything to do with. That's it.
Let's start with Iran alone. This deal with Iran that would give them tens of billions of dollars, reported...
As opposed to Russia. By the way, Iran is willing to stop their nuclear program, and they have no plans to invade any other countries. Unlike Russia, who Sean Hannity and everybody is arguing we shouldn't be buying it now, but up till the second they invaded, it was totally cool. And the second they leave, let's go right back to it.
Take the Iranian Revolutionary Guard off the no-fly list, reportedly allow Vladimir Putin, who's negotiating...
I love this Biden gas price surge. Did somebody at Fiverr make this for you, Sean?
The deal to build a nuclear facility.
Yeah, this doesn't help right here, by the way. This is nobody was going anywhere. We had Delta right here, and then it dipped back down. And then we started, oh, look at that. People are driving again. There's actually money in the economy. Just businesses are opening. Oh, and here's the distinction between the Russian invasion and prices. Kind of different than this just kind of recovery part.
For the Iranians, this is madness, and that we'd import oil from the Iranians. Now, would you...
Gas price spike under Biden. I like the graphics, though. Look at this. It's sort of a pump. It's got the pumps on either side, using kind of old digital stuff. Let's see. Gas prices worldwide but per gallon. Here we go. No, that's March 14th. Fox Detroit. What are gas prices around the world? Yeah, let's see. Maybe they'll have a graphic. Let's see. Where do you go? Go away. Let's see. Top 10 most expensive countries to buy gas as of March 14. Prices are updated weekly, unless noted. Hong Kong is $10, Monaco $9, Netherlands $9 a gallon, Finland $9 a gallon, Liechtenstein $9, Germany $9, Italy $9, Norway $8, Greece $8, Denmark $8, Venezuela. This is the least expensive countries. Venezuela, super cheap. If you had anywhere to go, it wouldn't cost you anything to get there. Libya, amazing. Why can't we have the same? Why can't we have strong leadership like Libya and Iran and Syria? Even Nigeria and Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan. What are the odds? And this is on Fox. The complicated reason. Hold on, I got to say. The complicated reasons gas prices are so high. But yeah, so Hong Kong is $10 a gallon. That's pretty nuts. It's $4.32. Netherlands $9. Italy $9.84
make that deal with the Iranian government, the mullahs that chant death to America?
Well, they don't do it. The people in the street do to impress the mullahs, but that's not everybody. And also, we used to have a great relationship with them till oil fucked it up.
So I ended a terrible deal, but it was better than the one that they're looking to do now, the Iran nuclear.
By the way, the ending of the Iran nuclear deal and the elimination of their oil from the market benefited the Saudis and the Russians. So, by the way, does like undermining any kind of reconciliation in Venezuela as well, from a political standpoint. That's why Trump did it. Trump wanted out of the Iran deal because they could bring their oil to market as part of it, and the Saudis and the Russians didn't want that, so he stopped it. It had nothing to do with Israel or nukes or anything. Just for the record, it was a direct order, basically. Convince me otherwise.
Deal. They're looking to do a deal even worse, if that's possible. And, you know, the one thing you didn't say is Israel is in tremendous peril, tremendous danger of this.
No, they're not. Can I show you what technology Israel introduced? I posted this earlier. Wow, probably. Oh, hold on. I mean, I saw this like Israel anti-missile. Whoops, laser. Yeah, there you go. So this was today. Israel successfully tests new laser missile defense system. We have this system already. Let me see if I can find a video of it. Let's see, YouTube. That's adorable. I don't know if this is just some rando person's thing. Yeah. So we have these kind of things, these kind of systems that shoot down, they can shoot down lasers. These are on U.S. carriers. It's the naval tech. That's U.S. Navy has these lasers that can shoot down missiles. So the Iranians tested one. Where is it? These are all pictures. Come on, you dumb. They literally tested it today. Laser beam work in the works, shoot down incoming projectiles. Blah blah. Blah. Anyways, a bunch of these came up. This was not possible when the original Iran deal was made. Now it basically means that if Iran did decide to launch a nuclear weapon, not only do our ships in the sea have this technology to shoot down the missile before it could arm itself, but so could, yes, Jewish space lasers, only they're from Earth. They'd have to put a satellite with a mirror on it just to set our forests on fire.
Because it's a very...
Oh, can we watch the Russian ship sink again? Happy thoughts? Yes, that's also true. In related news, the Moscow ship sunk, and they admitted it. Oh my God. An explosion aboard Russia Moscow this week came shortly after the issue of a new Ukrainian postage stamp that highlights the warship and an image celebrating national resistance. It's a dude giving the finger to the boat. That's the boat that sank. You go through all this design, and now you gotta do it. Somebody already recreated this with the boat sinking like Titanic. So good. Yeah, there's a javelin. That's not what got it, but you fools are laughing now, but once Putin mobilizes the city of Moscow municipal fleet, it's all over for NATO. Yeah, you got tractors, we got tractors. We don't need no stinking tractors. Let's see. Police raid an anti-war concert at the Moscow Cultural Center, disrupting a performance artist. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, so this is it. So they said that munitions blew up on the deck and that it sank. Where the fuck is it? Taz wrote this. Yeah, so they initially reported the blast on it, and then later on, they admitted that it sank. Yeah, that's the missile cruiser Moskva sank while being towed to its destination in a storm due to damage to the hull received due to a fire from the detonation of ammunition. Yeah, that's a fire due to the detonation of ammunition. It wasn't our ammunition. However, it was special drowning operation. It was swiftly and professionally turned into a submarine. That's the Neptune rocket, or at least a reasonable facsimile there. Yeah, so this is TACH or TASS that Reuters was a part of, and then the Russian Orthodox preach blessing a Russian S-300 nuclear-capable long-range surface-to-air missile system. Oh, God. How's the cruiser Moscow? Oh, God, this is just brutal. Not my fault. Right. Yeah, that's well, and then we're gonna get into the older stuff. So yeah, enjoy. It's just fun.
Quick roadmap for them to have a nuclear weapon and a lot of nuclear weapons, and I can't imagine.
Unlike the ones that North Korea was building during his presidency,
that it's going to be allowed to happen. What they're doing in Congress and what Biden is doing, I can't imagine that they would allow this to happen, Sean. This could very well.
Yeah, they don't. we'd already signed off on it. Just be a minor modification and go back to it.
The end of Israel. A lot of people are saying that too, unless perhaps something happens where Israel's going to have to take up the fight. But it is a terrible situation. And, you know, if you look, I told China you can't buy any oil until we make a deal. Had we won this election, which we did, had we been put in place or left in place, we would have had...
Right, they won, but they did, and Iran knows this. They would have made a deal in a week.
Absolutely. First of all, we wouldn't have had the Ukraine situation with Russia, but we also wouldn't have China buying massive numbers, record-setting numbers of barrels of oil from Iran, which is making Iran very, very rich. I told China, if you're going to buy from them, we're not doing business with China. So the gravy train...
Yes, yeah, we're not doing business with China. American businesses. So he was going to nationalize... The Venezuelaning of America wouldn't be complete under Trump.
$508 billion a year, the gravy train would end. And the other thing I did in terms...
By the way, no, they wouldn't. Think about that for a fucking second. Think about what he's suggesting. The idea is that if Trump... Because Trump wanted to make a deal with Iran, which he never actually took any steps towards making, he was threatening China that if they bought any oil from Iran during the time he was thinking about doing a deal that he never had any plans to do or didn't discuss the details of which with anyone, including China, if they bought oil from China and he found out about it, which they did and he knew, he was going to stop U.S. businesses from doing all trade with China. Apparently that button's right next to the nukes button on his desk.
China is, between taxes and tariffs, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. That's never happened before. They never.
We've taken tariffs in from them for a long time. You know who didn't get any tariffs attached to their products? Ivanka.
Any president 10 cents. But no, we are on the wrong side of everything. We have inflation. Wouldn't have happened. We have Ukraine.
No, you're right. He's right. We wouldn't have had inflation. We would have just stayed in perpetual collapse.
Wouldn't have happened. You'll probably have Taiwan. That would never have happened. None of the...
Yeah, you're probably going to have it. It never would have happened. It's not happening now, but it's going to happen. And once it does happen, it was never going to happen if I was there. And if it didn't happen yet, it's because they're worried about what happens if I come back.
Stuff would have happened. And some of it has to do with energy. Even the war.
Some of it.
The barrel of oil. You know, it's money, money, money to win wars. You need money, money, and money. And
yeah, that's by the way. I don't know if you've ever seen some of the bombings that Trump was suggesting, but I was like, can I be under those planes? Just throw money out the plane. There might actually be an argument for that. You might actually do some good. We're not, America doesn't like you. We're just going to roll in there and just dust your country with money. Here, just take it. Like, oh God, these fuckers are great. Don't blow them up.
Well, it's
the mother of all bullshit.
Very simple. The numbers are the highest they are in history. So Putin, whether he sells it directly or indirectly, is selling for more money than he's ever sold before. They're taking in...
No, he isn't. The price cratered. He can't sell it to the people with the most money. He's getting a scrounger's price for it. He didn't just like invent selling to China. He's just selling more to them at the price they previously paid. What do you think? I'll sell you more oil. I'm not selling it over here. It's just backing up. I'll sell it to you, but I got to charge you a premium. Why? Well, because I have too much of it. What the fuck? What kind of business is that?
Amounts of money in Russia, despite the disaster that's going on in Ukraine. And it's a very, very sad, it's a horrible thing to watch. Horrible.
Imagine what it's like to experience it. It's a horrible thing to watch.
Even the energy, if you really look at it, John.
Why is it a horrible thing to watch? Because Putin's losing. And I look like an asshole, like he was supposed to win.
The energy is involved with the Ukraine situation because the amounts of money being made are so enormous. And we could be doing that in our country with, as I said, the liquid.
Oh yeah, we could have invaded Ukraine to stop them from getting their oil and gas to the market, and then keep what Europe from buying it.
Gold that we have more of than anybody.
You know, it's interesting. When you were last on this program, you told the story. Well, first I showed the video of you basically excoriating the head of NATO and saying how stupid NATO was being when NATO was literally, we're spending more dollars, more per GDP percentage than all these NATO allied countries. We're protecting them from Russia, Germany, and all these other countries.
It's a group thing. Like if the attack happened, it wouldn't be like we can only send 8% of our troops. We're supposed to send 2%, but or 0.8% of our troops, but we're supposed to send 2%. We really just can't do that.
Are making Russia and Putin rich again.
By the way, this was him trying to drive a wedge between Germany and NATO and try to get them to break off. That's what this was about. It wasn't about solving the issue of NATO engagement. It was about decimating NATO. Look at Pompeo. Pompeo is actually for NATO in the same way that John Bolton is. He thinks it can be a hammer whenever we, in case of emergency, break glass. But he doesn't want it destroyed. Look at his fucking face during this whole thing.
In these billion-dollar deals, which you said was it would eventually backfire on them.
Look at him. Look at this fucker. He's like, the fuck?
You were very strong in your statement. You handed Angela Merkel the white flag of surrender, and she said, "What's?"
Gave her a napkin. Fuck off with this nonsense. He didn't mail her a flag.
For you can pick it up from there.
Yeah, to finish the story, I don't really give a shit.
Well, I told Angela that you can't make a deal with Russia where you're going to get, in my opinion, 78 to 80% of your energy.
In my opinion. So, you mean they get 40%?
She said it was 40, but it wasn't 40.
No, it wasn't 40. It was 70. It had to be. Why? Because 40 doesn't sound big enough for my hyperbolic, psychotic statement.
It was close to 80% of their energy from...
No!
Yeah. And all you have to do is look at history. Take a look at World War I and World War II. And now you take a look at what's going on right now. And I did. I sent her the white flag of surrender because she said, what? But what?
And they didn't, by the way. They didn't. Once Russia did this, Germany closed themselves off to the Nord Stream 2 pipeline and are just done with it. They didn't surrender. He insisted they would, and they fucking well didn't. Even in the first couple of days, they soft-pedaled because they weren't sure how bad this was going to go. A lot of countries were afraid to give offensive weaponry because what happens if Ukraine gets taken over very quickly and all of that stuff just ends up in Russian hands? So there was a wait and see in the beginning of it about what they could give and who was going to jump in line first. And the United States has more stuff, so we can afford to do it because we're no longer in Afghanistan. So we got a lot of gear sitting around, and a lot of it's parked in Europe, so we could bring it over and here, guys. Yeah. Again, the whole fucking we surrendered in Afghanistan. Everybody's laughing because we're no longer there. It was embarrassing, yada yada. No, the very fact that we're not in Afghanistan anymore is the very thing that allows us to be as resilient, because we have a shit ton of gear we really don't need that's over in Europe, and we're like, here, guys, knock yourself out.
I said it means that Russia has you exactly where they wanted you for.
And yet they didn't.
For a century. And that's where they've got you. And you're making a terrible mistake. The other thing I did is I ended the pipeline going into Germany and going into Europe. I ended the...
No, he didn't. They kept building it.
Nord Stream 2, which was the Russian pipeline going into...
So is Nord Stream 1.
All of Europe, but going into specifically and mostly Germany. And I ended it. And Biden came along, and almost from the first day he approved it. But he ended the Keystone pipeline, which is our pipeline. So
it's not our pipeline. It's a Canadian pipeline.
Figure that one out.
Let me...
I figured it out. I looked it up. It's a Canadian pipeline. It's Canadian tar sands oil.
Just to put to bed what
Sean, you're not going to correct him that the Keystone XL is not our pipeline?
call is the big lie. And the big lie is every month as we get new numbers on consumer price index, year-over-year inflation. Again, you left, inflation was at what, 1.4%. Wholesale prices 1.6. A gallon of gas 2.42.
Weird. Look at that dip in 2020. Look at things kind of holding steadily. And by the way, this is percentage change in year over year on these things, right? Percentage based on, hold on. No pandemic, no pandemic, no pandemic. Oh, look.
Now, you left at 1.4% with inflation, the consumer price.
Hold on, CPI and core CPI. Let's take a look. So here's look at that. 8.5 right now. For CPI is at 6.4 and so less food and energy in US average, it's 6.4, and then added all items, including used cars and all that shit, is 8.5. They're like, it's the biggest in 40 years. It's still half of what it was 40 years ago. Look at this. Fucking 14 and 12. 1980. Here's, let's see, it's 1975. Here's 1970. They were pretty much tied together, so there wasn't a big divergence between the two. And then look at this rickety shit post like 2008, where everything just took a shit, went below zero. And then it touched zero over here. Yeah, the CPI was 0.24. No wonder it's up 10% from something. Like, look what the baseline is. Ugh. And weird that it only go. And by the way, let's see, it goes back to 2017. I have to say, like, they smoothed that out a lot for their graphic. But there's a reason why it doesn't show, like the length of tracking it. Because if they showed the 70s and the early 80s, it'd be like, oh shit.
Index. Right now it's 8.5. And that dotted line is when Joe Biden took office, and you see how quickly it rose. If you look.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a perfect track of people going back to business after shit cratered.
The gas price surge under President Biden. You see that first dotted line is when Biden takes office, and you see the steady increase. You left it.
Yeah, as people went back to work, delivery trucks started moving again, factories started to open, people started going back to their offices, commuter traffic increased. Life is what life looks like. The other side is not what life looks like. That's like you're basing that, this level, this is, this change is a reflection of the lower prices over there that have, as they increase, to make up for the losses.
At $2.42 a gallon, and by the time, it's up like $1.50 a gallon by the time Putin ever invaded Ukraine, but they try to blame.
Yeah, they try to blame Putin for this, like, normal, like, there's this normal hump of things going back to normal, right? This is not that weird a number. As a matter of fact, now, let me see this. You think there's going to be a similar situation with this? Hold on. Gas prices, U.S. average graph. I think this is going to be fun. All grades, uniforms. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Annual. Yeah, let's do. Here you go. Here's there's 2008. That's still higher. There we go. Let's drop down here. Then it gets way up here. Here's 2012. Then it drops down, and then we're back here. Well, this is still last year averaging for the year. Yeah, here you go. Here's the monthly. Bing. Here we go. Look at that. After it cratered, and then you go, and then we get back up here. Every time it craters, it does one of these jacks like that. Here's 432. It was 411. There you go. Right in the realm there. There's 373. There you go. So these two peaks. Notice the total lack of a pandemic right here. Curious that. And by the way, this is, where is it? December. Here you go. So this is December. This is the number they're showing. So this is December, January 2022. And then look at that. Look at the spike on that graph. It's like straight up. Theirs, they even lean a little bit because it's less acute. Because they only do it over like a single month there. But it went from $3.40 to $4.3 in 2 months. That's what we're seeing. This part right here, as rough as it was still just kind of a, like, in the zone of where it was in 2014. Minus Ukraine, we're in 2014 numbers. We're in this zone. Instead of the artificial depression in here. There you go. Depression of prices.
Putin and Ukraine, and we'll put the gas prices up there as well. And then today's number on inflation of wholesale prices, again, you're at 1.6%. Today it's 11.2%. Mr. President.
Yeah, that's because people are starting to ship things again, and shipping is very expensive, and this is happening all over the world. Biden's wholesale inflation surge. It's an interesting choice.
The Bloomberg came out with an estimate that the average American household is going to pay $5,200 a year in Biden's inflation tax. The poor and the middle.
Yeah, it's weird that they got almost that same amount during the pandemic and kept them afloat. It's almost like it's zeroing out.
Class in this country, Mr. President.
And by the average, they mean the mean, economic mean. So people who are richer will spend more than that. People who are poor will spend less than that. The average, not every American who's in the average zone will pay all of that.
Or as you called them, the forgotten men and women, they cannot afford that type of money. They're not going to be.
They cannot afford that kind of money.
Able to survive if this continues. If you're president, what would you do?
Well, first of all, Sean, I am the president still. It was a rigged election, and I'm still here. All of these ideas are mine. Biden is carrying them out. He's an android, and I just hung Hillary's third clone at Gitmo.
So what you're saying sounds very easy and sounds very simple. Not actually that simple. But I will tell you, this is like the biggest tax increase in history. If you look at what inflation is doing, and I saw a number today that wages can go up, but they're nowhere near what's being taken out of families by pure inflation. Just the cost
answer
of bread,
the fucking question.
The cost of gasoline, the cost of everything. Everything is up. And then supply chain. You go to stores and they're half empty. Many stores, they can't get product.
I mean, that's not fucking true. It just isn't. Sorry. People are complaining about the prices of things they can't even buy. What a bunch of assholes.
They can't get anything. You go to luxury stores or non-luxury.
Yeah, luxury stores or non-luxury stores. These are the two categories, Sean, of stores in the world. I don't know if you know this. I mean, you speak for the common man. You know that luxury and non-luxury. Yes, they're half. The luxury places are half full. The poor people's stores are half empty. That's just how it goes. That's reality. These people have to pull themselves up by the bootstraps just to go from half empty to half full. Have you seen it, Tiffany's?
Stores to a supermarket.
I walk in with this, and I'm like, Tiffany's is empty. And Melania still wants to go into this viewing room in the back with the head of security. And she's in there for like 2 hours. And it must be there's so little stuff in there that she comes out all sweaty.
And the shelves are, in some cases, half bare, and nobody's ever seen it. We didn't even have to discuss supply chain during my administration because because
there was not a supply chain. That literally, that's when it ground to a fucking halt. No supplies, no chain.
Perfect moving machine. It was
a perfect moving machine. That's why you had to have tariffs on China, because everything's made there, and you had to arrange for your daughter's products that are made there to not be subject to those tariffs, because it was a well-oiled machine that came with directions that said, whatever you do, don't add oil. That's a Harry Anderson joke.
Beautiful. We created the greatest economy in the history of the world.
In our minds.
Created an economy that was better than any economy in history. Then we got hit with the China.
Not even close to true. The fuck are you talking about? Before COVID, he created fewer jobs, half the jobs Jimmy Carter created, with fewer human beings alive in the country. After World War II, we had like 1.6 unemployment. The post-World War II boom is historic in its expansion of the middle class. The fuck are you talking about?
Virus. And after the China virus, we did one of the best jobs in the world of doing everything, including Operation Warp Speed and everything.
Oh, God damn it. He's got to say it. First of all, everybody blames Operation Fartsteed for his, for why they don't want to get the goddamn vaccine.
Captain's log.
All right.
That entails the therapeutics, the vaccines, everything we did. And then they messed it up with the mandates. And they absolutely were killing our country with the mandates, which should have never happened. So,
we didn't have mandates. What are you talking about?
This is just so sad to hear, because this was all a self-inflicted wound, from inflation to the loss of energy independence. It is so sad to watch. And now, add to...
By the way, can I just say for the record that I'm glad he's sad to watch this? That's I don't usually take joy in the misery of another human being, but the fact that he's watching this and it somehow makes him sad, and I'm like, well, it should make you sad. Biden's got us at 3.6% unemployment. Even with inflation, there are more people working than ever. Well, not ever before, but ever in my lifetime.
What's going on in Ukraine, that's genocide. What's happening in Ukraine is...
Oh, it's genocide. It's just genocide just happens. You know what I mean? Like hail or lightning. Is it happening? Who's happening it? So it's genocide. Biden says it's genocide. Fox jumps down his fucking throat. This asshole says it's genocide. Let's see.
People have never seen anything like that before.
Well, a lot of people have actually seen that before. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of old people in Ukraine who actually witnessed it when their relatives were fucking murdered by the Nazis in World War II.
Let me get to Ukraine in a minute, but let me go back to the campaign, because this is not happening by accident.
The campaign? Oh, right, the one you lost. Right, okay.
Joe Biden said he would do exactly this as it relates to energy, and I want to play it for you so you're reminded. By the way, the few moments he was actually out of his basement and out of the media mob protection program and actually had to speak a few words, watch what he's saying. This is...
Don't, Sean, that's just rude. Don't remind Trump that Biden kicked his sorry ass without ever leaving the house. Trump had to traipse all over the fucking country, wagging his dick in front of, well, it's not really wagging. It's just kind of It's like in front of all these crowds of the same people. Just if like on election day, like 3 of them, I forget, there were like 5 in 2 days. We covered them, the majority of them. Don't remind him that Trump had to bust his ass to come in second to Biden, who like fucking trounced his ass with his feet up.
This is all by design, in his own words.
If we don't start using fossil fuels,
we're all dead. Kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree, but I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate with it, okay?
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
It's eliminated.
Oh yeah, are you not going to overtime? You're just going to cut the words overtime out, Sean? So that this is the net zero really means zero bullshit?
I will end all fossil fuels. Look at my...
Yeah. Yeah, that's the goal. Set that path in motion. If we could still move everything forward, have our economy the way it is, and have our industries and all that kind of stuff, and we don't have to use a single drop of fossil fuels over time, awesome.
I promise you. So he's doing it on purpose. Obviously, this is by design, and
yet he gave away 34% more leases for oil and gas during his first year than Trump did in his first year. He just has to make sure that they have to be environmentally sound.
The result of these policies, so I don't see any hope he's going to change these policies. And
oh, by the way, you're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. This is going to be a long one. I have a feeling just because of the nature of this interview. And I just wanted to remind you to like and subscribe, support the show. Twitch subscribers right there. That's our number of Twitch subscribers. Wink, wink. Just there. You can Venmo to support the show, and you can become a patron. Patreon.com/HAL Sparks. That's how you do it. Here we go.
Most economists now say this is going to turn into a full-blown recession and maybe worse. What do you see if he doesn't change course?
Well, Sean, he actually said that at the end of the debate.
Sean, he actually, sorry, I have a tremendous amount of fluid building up in my mouth from all the speed suppositories I've been doing.
And then Chris Wallace saved him. Remember when I said, oh, wait a minute, so he's admitted to all of this. And then they tried to take it back, and Chris Wallace, who was a terrible commentator, saved him. But he's been saying this indirectly for a long time. And the problem with it is that...
Indirectly? Fuckhead, he was just playing video of him saying it directly. And any dial back of that policy because we're in a fucking emergency is not a variance on a belief system. If I'm telling you that the key to heart health is exercise and eating right, and we build a nutrition plan for you, and we get you on a jogging every day, and you get poisoned and go into cardiac arrest, and I start doing compressions on you, save your life, get you in the hospital, and you're in the hospital for 10 days or some shit like that, that does not mean we're not going back to the nutrition and exercise thing because you're in bed for 6 weeks. We're not going, bed is the new plan. How fucking stupid.
You don't go to fossil, and we're talking about, in many cases...
You don't go to fossil?
They today have clean coal. They today have natural gas, which is very...
Yeah, clean coal, natural gas. The great thing about natural gas is, I don't know if you know this, it comes from avocados. Yeah.
We include...
Honest to God, these fucking words, like he's like, ooh, clean. Let's use the clean coal then. I'll just tell him it's clean coal. You know what? Oh, natural gas, not unnatural gas. First of all, there is no... All right. Or you could create gases in a lab. But the idea that they would create unnatural gases. I mean, God knows anyone around Trump has experienced some unnatural gas. But
nuclear, we include many other things in there. But
yes, the good thing about Trump is that he was never afraid to deal with
nuclear stockpiles.
Yeah, that's how you run.
If you don't go to the kind of things that you've been living with for a period of time, they don't have the power to fuel our great factories and to build.
Okay, he's talking about wind and solar.
Our great businesses. Today I saw a big story that they're very millions.
Yes, Sarah, I would get in trouble if I streamed Lab Rats. Yes.
Millions of dollars are being charged on windmills because they're killing eagles. They're killing the.
Oh, for fuck's sake. They're killing eagles. That's not only do they kill birds, but they're unpatriotic.
Bald eagle and other eagles and other birds.
Yeah, other eagles. You know, the entire the Eagles, the band is afraid to even tour near them.
And we have these windmills all over the.
If you're ever driving and you're listening to Hotel California and it starts to go quiet or crackles or whatever, and then the cassette tape just ejects and explodes, you're probably near a windmill.
And the environmentalists pretend they love them, but they're really hurting our country. They're driving down values. They're just absolutely.
Also, I don't know what the fuck that he says this all the time. They're driving down values. Where are people like, I'd love to buy this house, but look outside, Marge. What is it? Look at there's wind turbines all over the hill. What is this, fucking Sweden?
It's one of the most expensive forms of energy. The turbines are all made in China or Germany, so they get the advantage.
Two terrible, terrible countries.
That it's just ridiculous. But the real problem.
By the way, I think the question was, how would you deal with inflation if you were president? we do realize that, right? This is the answer to inflation is high. What would you do? How would you solve this if you were in office?
Is also that if you go green, you don't have the power to fuel our great factories, manufacturing plants, and all of the things.
Well, sure you do. That's why you do net zero, because you're trying to offset it. You don't power the factories with wind turbines unless you have an incredible battery array and you're able to run them nonstop and yada. Like, that's just silly. Or you have a smart grid across the whole country that benefits from, places with a lot of sun, places with a lot of wind, somebody with nuclear, somebody with geothermal, somebody with hydropower. You mix it all together and everybody can get access to it, which is kind of the fucking point of a smart grid in a country. And it is fucking 2022.
We do, and that we're known for. You don't have the power, and it's happened with Germany. Germany's a mess right now because they tried to do that, and it's not working, and it's not working at all, and it wouldn't work for us either. We'll have to get rid of 25% of our businesses. We'd have to close factories all over the place. It doesn't have the power.
So there's more factories now than there were when you were in office. That's weird.
Technology's not there yet, and possibly will really never be there.
Yeah, we'll never do it. If we started working on solar power right now, we would never, it'll never get to scale or solar power. Kilowatt cost, something like that. I can try. There you go. Here we go. Let's try. Where is it? There you go. We're not making any progress. This is a day ago from science. What the fuck do they know? Thermal batteries could efficiently store wind and solar power in a renewable grid. You know, that thing that's in the infrastructure bill that actually got fucking passed. Stored as heat in a bath of molten material, extra energy could be tapped when needed. That's not what it looks like. That's just a pretty picture of something else. Thermovoltaic cell turns furnace-like heat into electricity. It's a smaller version of it. How do you bottle renewable energy when the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow? That's one of the most vexing questions standing in the way of greener electrical grid. Massive battery banks are one answer, but they're expensive and best at storing energy for a few hours, not for days, long stretches of cloud, weather, or calm. Another strategy is use surplus energy to heat large mass of material in ultra-high temperatures, then tap the energy as needed. It's like proto-nuclear, essentially. Make lava. This week, researchers report a major improvement in a key part of the scheme, a device for turning the stored heat back into electricity. Now imagine, if you will, the geothermal possibilities of that. Instead, you don't have to take that energy and make something molten out of it, and then retool it to that. How about you take these things, drive them down into the fucking ground where there's lava plates in certain areas, obviously. And, the proximity would be enough to do that. You could pull geothermal heat and turn it into, imagine like a thermal netting over an active volcano. Yeah, he never answered the question. Yes, what about the swans? We don't give a fuck about swans. Canadian geese are being fucked up by these wind turbines when normally they could fly safely inside the Keystone XL pipeline.
Mr. President, when you look at the latest poll numbers, Joe Biden is underwater on double digits.
Oops, there we go. He's underwater by double digits. Look at that. This is the aggregate at 538. 41 approved, 52 disapproved. These are all polls. Polls of likely registered voters. 42, 52. Polls of adults. 40, 51. So if the young folks are annoyed. There we go. Ipsos. He's got a 41, YouGov 44 approval, Morning Consult 42. Quinnipiac is the one that's driving it all down at 33. That's the April one. 40 on Morning Consult. So they're aggregating all of these. The thing that's dragging this down and driving this up is this one. If you take that one out, this is the adjusted part. No biggie. And by the way, if you did, it would put him up in the full one, all polls. It'd put him like around 43. Even still, Trump never got higher than 45 the entire fucking time.
Almost every major issue. Quinnipiac poll, it's not a conservative poll by any means, as you know.
And that's the one he's going to cite, the 33.
Had his approval rating today at 33%.
No, it didn't. They didn't do one today. This video was posted on April 13th. This is the most recent interview. The Quinnipiac poll was done. This is the one he's talking about. The third. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Show more polls. There we go. Quinnipiac, 33. April 7th to 11th. 33%. Well, maybe this is 2 days old. We'll call it. We'll say he's looking at it yesterday.
6% among independents in America. Recent polls have shown a dramatic demographic decline for African Americans and Hispanic Americans in terms of their support for Joe Biden. What do you read into that?
Well, nobody can be surprised. You look at the border, they talk about 2 million people. I think you're going to have 10 million people if they...
Yeah. Germany's energy, they get 80% of their energy from Russia, even if it's materially 40 and you can check. And they say there's 2 million people crossing. I say it's 5 times that.
They knew the real numbers coming in. You could have 40, 50, or 60 million people coming in over this 4-year period. That's a
40, 50, or 60 million people coming over during this 4-year period. I guess he's counting on American popularity going through the fucking roof. Why would you come here if the country's in collapse? If our country is going to hell, Why would those people continue? Why would the numbers of people coming here go up?
Horrible thing. That's a major portion of our country coming in. That's bigger by 3 times, 4 times than New York City. It's crazy what they're doing, and
they're not doing that. That's not even close to fucking true. All right, whatever. I mean, it's, yeah, 220,
no
221, whatever it takes.
For it. We don't know.
Yes, there's no justification for you just making up fucking numbers.
These people that are coming in, we don't know who they are. And then why would we give up energy independence? All Joe would have had to do is leave it alone.
Is don't vaccinate people. Don't have a plan to vaccinate people. Don't put it into place. And you would shed a lot of people that way.
Had it running at the border. We had the best border, the most secure border we've ever had.
Oh my God! Look, 2 million people right there. That's a million. That's a million. This is this is obviously an aggregate video.
War was almost complete. It took 2.5 years.
And then the next year, 4 million people. There they are.
Started because I had to win 11 different lawsuits, and mostly done by Democrats and Democrats in Congress.
Private people who owned land on the border, who he actually is the first president to give territory to Mexico since, I think, the war, since we were at war with Mexico.
Won them all. We started the wall. It was just about finished. 3 weeks it would have been finished. Could have easily been finished. And they don't want to do it. They're letting people
the riot
invade our country.
You do recognize this is video of people being caught, right? I'm just saying, Sean, if you're trying to sell this narrative, I just go out on a limb and say maybe, find video of people, with night vision or something where you're seeing people make it across, because this really fucks your narrative.
This is an invasion of our.
These are just people who came to see the wall. I've been to the Great Wall of China 3 times. And it's fun. I can't imagine people in Mexico don't want to go take a look at the wall. See it from both sides.
Country. And the other thing, and it can't be said strongly enough, it really started going, as horrible as the border was, and it's horrible. There's never been anything.
It is horrible. It's horrible. Horror.
For any country. You could take a 3rd world country, a 4th world country. Nobody.
A 9th world country. There are 10th world countries. I don't know if you know what you're talking about. What? And by the way, did Sean Hannity just open a manhole and go down?
Country. You could take a 3rd world country, a 4th world.
Yeah, you just opened a grate in the studio floor. It just went into it. A 4th world country. You could take a fucking Mars colony.
Nobody has ever allowed people to invade their country like is happening to us.
Yeah, no. There's never been a refugee crisis at a fucking border. And let's see. Hold on one second. Worst refugee border crisis. Let's see. Here's a list of the worst refugee crises where people, displaced people crossing borders and coming into World War II, obviously. The partition of India, that was rough when you broke off Pakistan and all that stuff. Bangladesh liberation, that was a rough one. World War I, Syrian refugee crisis. That's 2011 to present. Refugees of the war as citizens of permanent residence in Syria who have fled the country over the course of the Syrian civil war. The pre-war population of the Syrian Arab Republic was estimated at 22 million. They've lost 6.8 million people crossing. Soviet-Afghan war, 6.2. Venezuela. Are we even in there? Is there? No, we don't qualify. All right.
We have no idea who the people are. They're terrorists in many cases. There are many jails.
Yeah, we have no idea who they are, but they are terrorists. I don't know who's hiding in the closet, Marge, but it's definitely not the cleaning woman.
Are being emptied from many countries. Last week, it was 129 different countries. People entered from those countries. 129 countries. And they're emptying out their jails into the United States of America.
Yeah, and they're giving them rowboats.
It's a tragedy what's going on. But a big point, a big time in this country, the greatest embarrassment in the history of our
big time. I'm on my way. I'm making it. Hi there.
Country was the way we surrendered in Afghanistan.
Cleaning woman. Thanks, Bob.
And I was getting us out with dignity, with strength. We hadn't lost a soldier in 18 months. The Taliban.
Because you made a deal with the Taliban. We'll leave. Just don't shoot us. We'll be out soon, please. We'll set a date and we'll be out. Just don't kill us until, like, if we stay past that date, kill away. But I don't intend to keep it. By the way, I'm also going to stay at Bagram. I know I said we're leaving, but I meant leave, but I didn't mean leave.
Was listening to me very strongly. They weren't doing anything against us. We were going to get out with dignity and strength. When we got out.
With what? Again, magic
15
plan.
dead soldiers, many, many soldiers without legs, without arms, who have been just obliterated, that people don't talk about. We left American hostages in that, Frank.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
You talk about better than any show on television because you're one of the.
It's that bad, is it?
People that even mentioned it, and we left $85 billion worth.
Hang on a second. I heard there was math going on.
Best military equipment
Best
anywhere
military
in the world.
ever.
I rebuilt the military.
Oh, so good.
$2.5 trillion. I upgraded our nuclear so that we have the most powerful nuclear force in the world.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've seen the nukes, man. Look, I don't subscribe to many reading periodicals, as it were. But, and I do the Publishers Clearinghouse every year just for bail money. And I signed up for a magazine on there. It's called
Nuclear Stockpiles.
That's what it is. I forgot. Yeah, there's a magazine called Nuclear Stockpiles. And it's just, I don't read it for the articles. I have it for the centerfolds. And let me tell you, our nukes are shiny. They are smooth. So smooth.
In many ways, I hated doing it because of the power, but we had stuff that.
Yeah, you hate to do it. I hated to do it. You know, sometimes you're like, I hate bringing a wrist rocket full of fentanyl just to go to the store, but better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
We didn't even, it was 50 years old. We didn't even know if it worked. But
Yeah, we don't know. You don't know, you know what I mean? It's almost as if, because some people might tell you that, so you'll spend a lot of money on it. But, so we weren't, 50 years, we weren't keeping that shit up. That's amazing. We actually, think about that for a second, folks. We won the Cold War with broken shit.
Did everything. And by the way, when Putin talks about nuclear, everybody shies away. They don't want to talk. They don't want to.
No.
This is a genocide that's taking place. We have the strongest, most capable nuclear anywhere in the world because.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for bringing that up. Like, what you need to do is say, you go, that's a genocide. And they go, that ain't a genocide. And then you go, I'll show you fucking genocide. Pa-pow! Like this. You sit there and go, I got you genocide coming right here. A-B-A-B-X-O-O-O-X. Right button, lower button, trigger, flickety-flew. Boom, done. Shall we play a motherfucking game?
I did. I rebuilt it. It was, we literally had.
He barely had time to golf. He was always inside. He's in there tinkering, putting on stuff. And he was like, he's under, I remember one of my favorite pictures of Trump that I saw at a rally. Wasn't a picture so much as a painting, but it depicted him in a very true form with there's a big nuke right there. And he just had the hood up, and he's under there with his elbows he's got his sleeves rolled up like a real working man. He's got dust on his face, strategically placed to show you that. And he's like, wait a second. This geolocationing matrix chip in here ain't worth a shit. Anybody got some chewing gum? And he didn't take out chew the gum, folded up the wrapper, stick it in there, took the gum, stuck it on there, boom, good as fucking new. Duct tape me, skack, boom, 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 skack, boom, boom, boom. New nuclear, right there. Didn't cost the taxpayer shit. And that was between rounds of golf, where he hit nothing but holes in one.
No idea.
Again, paintings, but still true.
Whether or not it even worked. And I as I said, because of the power, because of the awesome power and strength, I hated to do it. But we had no choice. We had no choice.
We don't.
But we have more than he has. We have as powerful or more powerful than he has. And people...
Yeah, you know what I mean? Most people don't know there's like sizes of nukes. Because there's like some bombs that can only destroy the world 3, maybe 4 times over. And then there's some that can destroy it 8, 15 times over. And those are way fucking better. I'm just saying, put me in the destroy the world 10 to 15 times over camp. Check that box for me. I don't want 6 ain't enough. You fucking girl's blouse.
It around. It's so sad when
you ain't gonna put. They yelling at you like we're gonna destroy the earth. You're like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna destroy it twice, motherfucker. NASCAR, show us your butthole.
Tens of thousands of people dying. You know, finally they're giving accurate numbers. It's far greater than the numbers that you heard in Ukraine.
Oh yeah, I mean most of the dead are coming across our southern border. I don't even know if you know that. It's true. The Russians are emptying out Ukrainian military cemeteries full of Nazis and sending them across our southern border. Build that wall in Russian. I don't know how to speak it.
We're being pushed around and we shouldn't be pushed around.
No, we shouldn't be pushed around. We just push that fucking nuclear button around. Just go pushed. Just walk up there, pull down that little microphone, put it right to your fucking face, and you go, person, woman, man, camera, TV, hit that button and boom, the missiles are away, hallelujah.
One thing that President Zelensky made very clear in an interview with 60 Minutes this weekend, I see this for myself.
He's that Jew Nazi, ain't he? I don't know how I feel about him. You know what I mean? Because I got, okay, not okay, okay, not okay. Not okay, okay. Some people are just on the fence.
I really think this is very simple. No American boots on the ground. That's...
I feel seen.
Part of the Trump doctrine. Overwhelming force, that's part of the Trump doctrine. The Reagan doctrine is no boots on the ground, provide allied nations the ability, the weapon...
Hold on. Fuck, man. I ain't even... Somebody got a crayon? How am I supposed to keep up with this? You can't jump around from the Trump doctrining and the fucking Reagan doctrining. They ain't the same fucking thing.
So they can fight their own war. The Ukrainians have shown they're willing to fight. They need the weaponry to do so.
Dude, I knew a couple of Ukrainian dudes. They was over here. They was running a swamp boat service down there, right in around Tallahassee in the Panhandle. And I met up with them. I saw him at a bar or whatever. It's this place we used to go see Steven Seagal's blues band play. You know, because after a week of hard physical work, you know, like you put in, you need a good laugh. So anyways, I used to hang out with these motherfuckers. And these dudes, like, I can hold my liquor. These motherfuckers could hold the bottle. Like, I'm drinking all this whiskey. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then the motherfucker just snatched the empty bottle out of my hand. I'm like, what you gonna do with that? Fucker ate it. Them fucking Ukrainians are tough, man. Tougher than woodpecker lips.
I don't see NATO stepping up with the degree of urgency I think they need to, or Western Europe, or the United States either. I don't know why Joe has this mysterious reluctance and resistance to allow Poland to give President Zelensky in Ukraine MiGs, especially...
Oh, maybe, I know why. Hey, fuckhead. It's because they only want to give those planes to Ukraine if we give them our planes. And our planes are like the shit, dude. We ain't passing them motherfuckers out. This ain't bomber Halloween. They ain't walking up dressed as fucking Charlie Brown, knocking on the door, opening their bag like, here's a F-16. How about a F-22? Just take it. Why are you giving him all that shit? Don't give him a whole candy bar. No, I'm giving it. He breaks it up and gives it to everybody else. Well, fuck him. That's his thing.
Look at the devastation. We have mass graves. We have innocent civilians being slaughtered in the streets. We have entire neighborhoods.
That's right. Why can't we ratchet this up? Person, woman, man, camera, TV, boom.
Hoods leveled. We have war crimes and atrocities that have been well chronicled from Bucha to Mariupol. Mariupol's 95% wiped out. It's all rubble today. I asked you the last.
Yeah, but honest to God, that shit's been going on for a while. Mariupol, I mean, it's basically like a Minecraft city.
Time you were on, whether you think that this is evil in our time, do you believe this is evil in our time?
It's such a good question, man. Is this evil? Here you got Vladimir Putin, apropos of fuck all, stacking his soldiers on the border of a foreign country, which is still, I mean, even though it's full of foreigners, you can't just be fucking with people because they're foreigners, especially when they're in their country where they technically ain't foreigners. Then he moves up there to Belaruski, and then he's up there in Crimea, which is a weird, like, naming a whole, that's like Australia. Crimea sounds like what you should have called Australia, you know what I mean? We're putting all our criminals in one place. Anyways, Putin's evil as fuck, man. He'd fucking eat you, and not in that order.
I think in 100 years, people are going to look back and they're going to say, how did we stand back and NATO stand back, which in many ways I've called a paper tiger. Don't forget, in
100 years, motherfucker, he's asking what we should do now. Nobody gives a rat fuck. And dude, in 100 years, we're not even going to be speaking English anymore. We're just going to speak in beeps and boops. Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop, beep, boop. I know what you mean. Fuck it. Beep, boop, boop. I'll still have my accent, so I'll be like beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, beep, boop. But fuck, man, who gives a shit what's going on in 100 years? I mean, I'm going to be alive, but you ain't shit.
NATO, because when I became president, the first thing I noticed when I went there to the first meeting was that most of the countries were not paying, or were paying far less than they were supposed to. There were only 8.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. So Trump did what he had to do, man. He went door to door in these fucking neighborhoods and said to these little NATO shops, he went to that, German hot dog stand and said, look, it's a nice German hot dog stand. I know a fucker over there, Vlad, he wants to burn this fucking thing down. It'd be a fucking shame if you weren't to pay up right now. And then I went next door to that Belgian waffle place, went over and saw that fucking French fries place. And like, hey, France, y'all motherfuckers better start kicking in. I'm going to let this motherfucker roll over you. And then the cool thing was he got them all to pay in, and he was still going to let them do it. It was like 1D chess. It was so complex in its simplicity.
Out of 28 countries that were paid in full, the United States was not only one of them. We were making up the deficit in order to protect Europe. We were paying possibly 80% of NATO to protect them. And then they take advantage of us yet.
No, we wasn't paying 80%. The fuck? We weren't doing 80%. What the fuck? You think we were supplying the energy for Germany or something? Is 80% just like a fucking record groove in his goddamn brain?
Right, because on trade, they're every bit as bad as China. They treated us very badly on trade. We changed a lot.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, China builds shit we make and sends it back to us. That's assembly. But fuck, we don't send fucking red wine to France, have them assemble it in a bottle and send it the fuck back. I say just, if that was what we're doing, I'd say, fuck it. Leave it in a box. Glug, 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 motherfucker.
Around, but they were very tough on trade. I asked Angela Merkel, how many Chevrolets are you selling this month in Munich or Berlin? And she looked at me, well, probably none. I said, you're exactly right, none. And yet we had the Mercedes-Benz and the Volkswagens and all of them. We had all of the German companies. And the same thing with farmers. Our farmers sell virtually nothing to Europe. You take a look at what we sell, and yet...
Is that... I mean... that's gotta be... Is that true? Anybody know whether that... Let's see. Let me see. I don't know if what, wait a second. I'm confused. Because I'm pretty sure, I mean, I've been on a lot of QAnon sites in my fucking time, all right? Full disclosure, QAnon, that phrase shows up in my Pornhub search results. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm your buddy. However, and I know that they've been like 3 clones of Hillary Clinton have been executed at Guantanamo. They on their 4th, you know. And, but I gotta say, I'm pretty sure all that shit about Trump really was president and Biden, you know, wasn't really sworn in and he was doing his job from Amazon set of the White House, and he's not allowed in there because there's gallows on land. They was freeing little kids that were trapped under the White House, which I don't know. Again, I don't know why there's never been presidents in there where they've had to free little kids from the basement of the White House until after Trump ended his presidency. I don't know the answer to that. They keep saying it, and I still don't know what the fuck. But I'm pretty sure I had to, you know, you got to do an 80-20 fucking rule with stuff. And I'm pretty sure Trump wasn't president most of 2021. I'm going to go out on a limb. American ex-prats shattered records. That one I know. In 2021. Highest annual export levels ever recorded. Final 2021 trade data published by the Department of Cromework this morning shows that exports of U.S. farm and food is WOOD. So FOOD would be food. Product tapes to the Wallard to Tald $177 billion. That's a lot of gold, man. Toppings. Oh, we got toppings too. That's good. I like them sprinkles and I like shaved almonds. That sounded dirty. Total by 18. I know that number, Your Honor. Percocet and excavating excavator. The Previs, well, son of a bitch, set in. Wait a minute. The last record was set in 2014. Motherfucker, Trump wasn't president in the last record year either. Somebody's fucking with him at the agricultural place, man. You mean to tell me the last time America set a record in agricultural carpal tunnel set exports to the EU was in fucking 2014? God damn. And then we just skip all the Trump years. I'm supposed to believe that. You motherfuckers want me to believe that the last time we set a record in exports was before Trump took office by 2 fucking years. And then we didn't set another one till he'd been out of office almost 2 fucking years. And Biden was in the administration in both situations. Motherfucker.
Take their product. They treated us very badly in trade, and
Look, that's a shipment of wheat just blowing the fuck up.
Defended them, and we really, if you look at the real numbers, I'll bet you it's close to 80%. And I said, you have to pay. And if you don't pay, we're not going to defend you. And as soon as I said that, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars, and NATO became rich. It was going down at a level that
Nobody's ever heard these numbers before. They're numbers so big that nobody even speaks them. These are the numbers that shall not be heard.
Been sustainable. You wouldn't be in a position now of giving them a rifle.
What? We ain't what? Hold on. First of all, if Trump looks at these pictures, good fucking God, I'm glad he's on the phone. Otherwise, he'd start talking about how lazy the Ukrainians are.
Not have been sustainable. You wouldn't be in a position now of giving them a rifle, let alone billions of dollars worth of equipment. So we did. I had a big impact. And by the way, that was an impact against Russia. The pipeline was against Russia. The sanctions were against Russia. And then I listened to the fake news.
Yeah, but the whole fucking country did that, man. We don't like that motherfucker. He kills people. He don't like freedom at all. Like we fuck up sometimes. But man, I stand by fucking America, man. You can't shit on the land that I love. I love this bitch warts and all. But fuck that Putin dude, man. And everybody knows it.
Hey, President Trump loved Russia, and he didn't do much about Russia. Well, I stopped the pipeline, the biggest thing they've ever done.
By the way, for those people watching, that ain't a pipeline that's being dug.
Created a powerful NATO because I got people to pay what they had to pay. They weren't paying. And nobody did sanctions like I did. So with all of that being said,
I gotta say, man, this is fucked up. Listen, and this sounds like them people over there do the Lincoln Project. You know what I'm talking about? Them fuckers, them never Trumper fuckers. And they sometimes take what Trump says and then they lay it over footage that makes him look like an asshole. You know, the kind of footage they have like him talking. And then they'll show him he'll say something and then they'll show visual evidence that it's the opposite in reality and makes him look bad, which I think is wrong. It's almost like that spread to Fox, man. Maybe Mike Pillow's got a point.
When I look at what's happening, it never would have happened under the Trump administration, regardless of strength one way or the other. I knew Putin very well, almost as well as I know you, Sean. And I will tell you, we talked.
All right, man, I got to go. This is gross. Yeah, I can't fucking do a silly character with this prick talking over bags of dead bodies. The fuck is going on over at Fox? Who thinks this is a good idea?
About it. We talked about it a lot. He did want Ukraine, but I said, you're not going into Ukraine. He would never, ever have gone into Ukraine.
He was in Ukraine the whole fucking time. There was constant shelling since 2014. His people were always in. They never left. The purpose that they were in there literally to keep Ukraine from being able to join NATO because you can't do it if you're having a border dispute. So they just put people in there and kept them fighting all the fucking time to keep them out of NATO. That was the point.
President Xi of China would never have even thought about going into Taiwan, not during the Trump administration. And even the radical left.
Well, he certain as fuck isn't thinking about it now.
Crazy people. The radical left actually mostly agrees with that. They actually say that. And I said, Chuck Todd, Sleepy Eyes Chuck Todd on NBC Fake News, said the other day, he said, why didn't any of this stuff happen during the Trump administration? And
because you don't have to invade your Christmas presents.
And others could not answer that question. But I can tell you.
Why? How come nobody ever cuts in on dancers when they're one of them? How come nobody?
Putin never.
What? Putin never had to crash a party where he was the guest of honor.
Would have done it. Never.
Obviously, you said things to Vladimir Putin and President Xi that you've never revealed. Will you ever reveal it?
No. Also, why would we believe him if he said he did? I'll tell you one day, Sean, what the thing is that I said that was so fucking magical. After stuff happens, I will tell you what I said to him that lines up with how things actually happened. But I have to wait until they're done happening so that what I say I said to him turns out to be the thing that happened.
Probably at some time, and they know it. They might reveal it before I do. But, you know, I got along with both of
them. First of all, that cat juxtaposed with the dead person.
With Russia, look, remember this.
Yes, but what is he basically saying? Russia, if you're listening, please release what I said, because I honestly don't fucking remember.
Not easy. I had the Russia hoax, which made it very difficult to deal with Russia. And Putin understood that also. It was a total hoax made up by...
Very difficult to deal with Russia. It's the... Yeah. See this? This is a panel truck with dead bodies in it.
Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. A total shifty shift. So bad for our country. But despite that, I got along...
What the fuck? Hold on. Fox, what the fuck is going on? Hold on. I'm... That's just gross. It's bad enough that he's talking shit like this and just pulling this nonsense out of his ass. And then they're putting fucking pictures of dead people on the fucking screen. The fuck is wrong with these guys? It's gross. Like that. And nobody there is going, whoa, stop that. This is Sean Hannity's fucking show. He's in charge of that shit. He has a screen right in front of him that shows what they're putting up. And they're obviously not changing anything. They're not doing this business. Here you go. How about this? I'll just put this up.
Then we understood each other, and I got along very well with President Xi. I made one of the greatest trade deals ever made, not only the USMCA with Mexico, Canada, but the trade deal I made for the farmers with China and manufacturers with China.
Hype train.
Until
Thanks, guys.
the China virus came in. That was...
Sorry, I got aggravated and I didn't reset or whatever. You're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. This motherfucker. Like and subscribe, support the show in any way you can. Don't forget to leave a comment if you're watching a piece of this video later on.
That was a bridge too far. That was it, as far as I was concerned. Because, you know, China's taken advantage of the United States from the day they started dealing with us, from the day. It was a horrible...
No, they haven't. They dealt with us arguably for a century and a half.
It was a horrible thing that happened. They were taking out $500 billion a year for many, many years.
They weren't taking it out. Our companies were paying companies there to assemble things that we would sell for 10 times what they cost to assemble in China. That's the trade deficit. And we weren't selling it to China because the people in China don't have the fucking money to buy the stuff that we're having manufactured there. We would, instead of having stuff made here, which would make it very expensive, we would send it over to China. They would assemble it there. They would send it back to us. We'd send it to the Czech Republic because they put it in boxes there. That's why the Czech Republic are the people who put your iPhone in a fucking box before it gets mailed out. And then we would sell it to all the high-end first world countries that can afford a fucking iPhone.
Back hundreds of billions of dollars with the taxes and with the tariffs. And I had to fight for it because we had guys like Toomey, the Republicans, and all of the Democrats. But Toomey, a Republican, that's why he's not running anymore, because he would have gotten shellacked in Pennsylvania. But some of these people, they didn't want to charge China anything. I said, why wouldn't you tax them when they're taxing us? You know, China puts massive tariffs on us, but he didn't want to, and others. I'm not just talking about him, others. I call these stupid people.
Sorry, they're showing pictures of fucking dead people, so I guess I can counter that.
So they're allowed to do it to us, but we're not allowed to do it to them. Is that what it is? Well,
no. China has no companies that are assembling things in the United States. Because on average, American workers make somewhere in the order of $56,000 a year. I think it's closer to 68 now as things have gone up. And China's average population makes $9,000.
Yes, that's called.
And by the way, that's an inflated number. That's not even true.
Free trade. I said, no, that's called stupid trade.
If you're Sean Hannity, how do you not just listen to this? I mean, he's a dumbass too, but like there's a level, you're marginally functional. How do you listen to this and go, good, thank God. Thank God we have this acumen. Yeah, no, don't interrupt him. Let him roll.
We did great. We created the greatest economy in history, Sean. The greatest economy in history.
Oh,
African American, Asian American, everybody, women, every single person, every group, every
until they started dying.
Category was at the highest level we were ever at. And we were taking China to the cleaners. We were growing much better, much faster. And then
no, we weren't. And also, like, the Chinese numbers are garbage anyways.
We got hit with the China virus that we had to slow it down, and then we did it all over again. And when I handed it back, the stock market was higher than it was at the time we got hit. But that period of time prior to the
Let's see. Macro trends. Hold on one second. There's got to be a stack on this. 1 second. Graph. I'll show you something that's fun. It's 29. And what was the top of this one? 29.5. Yeah, there you go. So here's the collapse from where is it? Come on, you. 19 something. Okay, here we go. This is the cave after COVID. This is the stock market from just 2010. This is it. And right here, let's see, 2018 is before that. Right about here is the introduction of E-Trade on a major scale. Like they were trying to get it going for a couple years before that, but it was fits and starts. But this is basically when personal trading became a possibility. It was like kind of petering out. It looked like this thing, and then boink, everybody could invest. Yeah, and it's like, you know, Robin Hood pops in right about here. People build up, and then they shit the bed, and then they're like, "Oh, buy the dip," and all these are all retail traders. Here, see 2020. Here's this is Biden taking over, and this is the stock market since. Right now, it is at almost 35,000. And again, most of this stuff, you can give credit where credit is due for some presidential policies. You can give credit where credit is due for some of the failures. I'm sure in the jagged of these are policies that may have had an impact, like here and here, something like that temporarily, that caused disruptions in the market. But the reality is that over time, as investments continue and more people have access to being able to invest on a personal level, the amount of money in the stock market is going to continue to climb because people at different levels of the economy can finally do it in a way that back here, well, even further back, quite frankly, can we go this way? Where do we go? Okay, can we go that way? People in the, in the robber baron era where none of us could ever hope to trade on the exchange unless we were part of a giant fund or something like that. Once people started being able to engage in this, the availability of funds that people could buy into and investments that on an interpersonal level, once that started to grow, that's when shit really took off because it's about the amount of money. For the longest time, basically, unless you were a Saudi or a robber baron, you didn't play the stock market. You couldn't afford to. You couldn't afford to lose it. And you didn't know enough. You didn't have the inside information. And now everybody has access, just in your Robinhood feed to information or like the Motley Fool and those kind of things. Stuff that like big traders, Wolf of Wall Street, all that shit, the people that they talk about in those would have murdered someone to get. Like this just claiming fucking, I did
China
that.
virus. There has never been in the history of this world an economy that was moving along like that economy, our economy.
Yeah, there has.
It's the greatest in history for everybody.
No, it wasn't.
Let me stay on Russia and China for a minute. One report out this week, Vladimir Putin will make more selling oil and gas this year, estimated to be $315 billion. That's almost $1 billion a day. Obviously, that will fund his war effort against Ukraine.
No, it won't. Because they don't have access to food. They don't have access to export markets. They don't have access to gear. They're fighting a war. They're going to be spending all this fucking money shoring up their military. They're engaged in an active war.
And after watching Putin invade Ukraine, do you believe President Xi will try to take Taiwan?
No.
Shown a lot of aggression, flying fight.
We have American soldiers on the beach.
That's over their airspace.
Over the corner of their air zone at the edge of it. Fuck off.
Talking about reunification, that would be a takeover. And who do you think is the bigger geopolitical threat, Russia or China?
Yeah, here comes. Finally, some detail. Let's do this.
Because of the massive economy of China and because of the amount of building that they're doing of their military, you take a look at the number of planes that they've built. They're building brand new aircraft carriers. They're doing a lot of nuclear.
No, they are not. This man was president of the United States. Hold on. Let me look up. I was looking up one thing. Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Donald Trump. Shit the bed. Trump is shit the bed. Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you guys, and I've shown you some of you folks this before, but I always love it when people, let's see, aircraft carrier China has 2 aircraft carriers, and one of them used to be a hotel. They're not building new. They have one they've been working on. It's a piece of shit. Honest to God, like the Chinese military gear is garbage.
Much more than them right now.
Basically, the conversation about Chinese military gear and capability, that just take the Russian military gear and capability conversation that was happening before Ukraine and just triple it to Trump numbers.
Within 5 years, they'll have caught us. And
no, they won't. You can't build fucking, 11 super carriers in 5 years, dummy.
And us are the 2 biggest, but they will have caught us within 5 years.
No, they will have not.
But what they're doing with their money, with their wealth, the wealth that they are making, and they're spending, like the island that they're building a fortress. He said to everybody that, no, this was a housing development. I said, how come you have the longest runway I've ever seen? The guy in a housing development doesn't need a runway that's 20,000 feet long. Why are you doing that? They never really had a very good answer.
20,000-foot runway. Imagine bragging that you had an airplane that needed 20,000 feet of runway to take off.
But look, you always have to say they're both very, very difficult because of nuclear. You know, that sets everything apart. That puts it into a different perspective. But if you look overall, including economy, China's a massive economy. Russia's a big economy, but much smaller.
Russia's not a big economy. Not even fucking close. Smaller than Texas, asshole. Smaller than California. Hang out. If you, like, Texas, or, like, Russia's economy is smaller than Goldman Sachs. Just wrap your head around that for a second. Let's see. Where do we even fucking start with this bullshit? And again, this was a guy who was, this is a guy who believes that, he was president of the United States. He had access to all the information that's on Google and everything else. Like every article he'd read the real numbers behind the numbers that we know of. Yeah. Let's see. Here you go. This is just what's going on currently. This is the Shanghai lockdown. By the way, I've been to all these places. I've been to Shanghai, spent some time in there. I have some friends, and some of them are hard to get a hold of right now, which is really scary. They have they're calling it dynamic zero COVID policy. Dynamic. 17-day lockdown that's going on still. Let's see. With the largest GDP of all Chinese cities, 4.32 trillion yuan, $679 billion by itself. That's Shanghai by itself as a city has a little over half the Russian economy in entirety. Third largest stock market globally by value of the companies that trade there, and 5th greatest number of billionaires in the world. I take umbrage with that because billionaires themselves, you're not a billionaire if you can't leave with your money. Sorry. If you can't leave with your money, then you're not a billionaire. Shanghai is also the most attractive destination for international business eyeing a presence in mainland China. That's because they've been effectively culling the financial districts in Hong Kong to move them more interior to the country, and Shanghai's the obvious choice. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we know that stuff. There you go. 7.3 trillion in the Shanghai Stock Exchange. Pool of companies. Let's get to the point. Okay, trade and logistics. This is the explanation of manufacturing and tech. We'll get around. There you go. TSMC, the world's largest contract chip maker, runs a major semiconductor factory in suburban Songyang. 2 Chinese chip manufacturers, SMIC and Huahong Semiconductor, have factories in Pudong, which is to the east of the city. But the COVID restrictions have forced many factories to suspend operations in Shanghai and in Kenshan, threatening to disrupt key supply chains for autos and electronics. Volkswagen and Tesla's factories in Shanghai have been shut down for weeks. Chinese electrical vehicle maker NIO has also been forced to halt production due to COVID-related disruptions in Shanghai. Somewhere in the order of, what's the top of this? The 40%. Yeah, here it is. Shanghai is the epicenter of the current COVID outbreak, but it's not alone. Analysts at Nomura estimate that full or partial lockdowns are in place in 45 Chinese cities, affecting a quarter of the population and about 40% of the economy.
I think got to watch both of them very carefully. I will say this: what Obama and Biden did is they did the all-time worst thing that could happen. They drove, because of energy and other reasons and stupidity, they drove Russia and China together. That was something that never could have happened.
Oh, by the way, Russia, China, good luck, kids. See you after prom. We should be so lucky that Russia and China are driven together. I'm sure it will totally work out. It'll work out just like they're going to create that. They're going to decide which of their currencies will be the new world reserve currency. I'm sure they'll agree that it should be the ruble. No, the yuan. No, the ruble. No, the yuan.
Because they're neighbors, and never friendly neighbors. They did the all-time worst thing. They drove those 2 big monsters together.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
these 2 big monsters together. By the way, I thought you had great relationships with these guys. So all 3 monsters. So those 2 monsters were connected with our monster at some point?
To happen, not only China and Russia together, now Iran, as bad as the Obama-Biden deal was with Iran, they're now talking about a far worse deal. And Joe wants to import oil from Iran, and he's begging OPEC, and he's dealing with them.
Yeah, those aren't related. And he's not begging OPEC, but getting fuel from Iran, getting oil from Iran will drive the price down and affect Russian hegemony in the area and keep that oil from going to China.
Thug dictator in Venezuela, it's by sending emissaries to Venezuela, things I know that you would never do. Let me ask this question.
Yeah, you would never go someplace like Venezuela. It's too full of like Spanish-speaking people. Kim Jong-un, on the other hand.
The media mob got angry at you for saying Putin should release information on the Bidens. Now, we do know that Hunter Biden, you know about the laptop.
Hold on. There is no laptop. There is no Hunter Biden laptop. Prove me wrong. Hopefully they're away
validated.
From the dead.
We know a grand
No, it hasn't. It has not been validated.
jury has been convened. He got
if I get too distracted, I'll do a whole nother 2 hours on that.
Millions and millions of dollars from a Russian oligarch, the former First Lady of Moscow.
She's not a Russian oligarch. She's not inside. She's a millionaire because she basically divorced her husband, who fucking disappeared. By the way, she had $3 million. She invested it with Rosemont Seneca, the company, and they made money off of the fees that they charge and the profits that she made. She's now, because she gave her money to Hunter Biden and his friends, she's now the richest woman in all of Russia. They took her investments, and it was profitable. Something the Trump boys could never fucking do.
0.5.
Also, I would like to remind everyone that Burisma used to be a horribly corrupt company. Hunter Biden and Rosemont Seneca came in. Now it is no longer. It is a functioning company within Ukraine that benefits the country financially, period. And the test always is, you got $10,000 to your name. It's your life savings, and it's the only money you got to send your kid to school. And there's a gun to your head, and you have a choice, and this is your only choice. You can invest it in Burisma before Hunter Biden comes in or after. That's your only choice. Which one are you going to choose? Before Hunter comes in or after?
billion deal with the Bank of China, $100,000 shopping spree with the Chinese national. Also, according to Peter Schweitzer, millions more. He got money for a brand new...
By the way, Chinese nationals are on the board of all Trump-related organizations.
Sports car from a Kazakh oligarch. And then, of course, you have Joe Biden on tape. You got impeached over Ukraine, and Joe Biden bragging that he leveraged $1 billion U.S. taxpayers.
Oh, okay, stop saying on tape. These are not the Nixon tapes. He spoke in public. He was on a podium, or he was on a dais during a discussion, and he was asked about it, and he told the story. He was bragging about how good he was as a vice president, how he was actually given worthwhile tasks to do, and he carried them out like a fucking boss.
And demanded a Ukrainian prosecutor get fired in the...
Yes, a Russian sock puppet who was responsible for corruption inside the country. They were trying to get rid of it.
Prosecutor was investigating his son being paid...
No, he wasn't.
Millions, the son that went on Good Morning America.
He was helping concoct evidence for the Russians. And even then, he was ineffective.
Admitting no experience in oil, gas, energy, or Ukraine. Now...
Yeah, but he didn't need any. They weren't there about that. They were about the investment money was supposed to go into specific areas. They were supposed to shepherd the money there and then make money for their investors all across the world. And they did. And again, the company is better off now than it was before.
Should we be looking into the potential that Joe Biden as president is doing these deals and had involvement with Hunter Biden? We have evidence that, in fact, he lied.
No, you don't.
When he said he never talked to his son about these dealings.
No, he talked about his son, about his life, but he didn't go, how's that deal going? Can I get a piece of that? There's a distinct difference between those two conversations. You're muddying the two, but because you're client number 3 with Michael Cohen, because Michael Cohen had 3 clients. One of them was Trump, and one of them was you, and the other one wasn't.
Do you at all believe it's a possibility that Joe Biden could be compromised by these countries? Because I do.
I see. Do you believe that he could be compromised? Because I believe it. All right. Yes, sure. Because you believe it, I believe it, Sean. Of course.
Well, of course. And when you look at what...
If he's compromised, why did he form the Quad? Why did he revive the Quad and form the AUKUS agreement? Why is he giving nuclear-powered sub-tech to Australia against the will of the Chinese, which is an enormous move? Why do we have troops stationed in Taiwan teaching, like, basically our military trainers there? Why would we do that? Why would we revive relations between Japan and India and all of the former TPP countries, which was meant to push back against Chinese production hegemony in the region? Why would he reform those things if they had dirt on him? Secondly, the dirt's out, and no one gives a fuck. Secondly, in Europe, in terms of this, if Ukraine has some sort of control over him and that's why we're reacting this way, then why is everyone else reacting the same way? Is everyone in the world compromised? That's how they got blackmail on everybody. The Ukrainians have managed to blackmail the entire Western world into supporting them, and they're Nazis at the same time. Jesus Christ.
Happened with the New York Post, which really stood out tall, and I think they really enhanced their reputation. I believe.
No, they didn't. With what? Pictures? Pictures of pictures? Copies of printouts of photos of pictures that aren't real in the first place? Piss off.
The oldest newspaper in this country. And they really went out, and you know what? They were essentially shut down, but people are still seeing it.
They were essentially shut down, but people are still seeing it. They weren't shut down. They tried to engage in manipulation in the last 3 weeks of an election without the necessary evidence to prove their point. It was all bullshit. Every time they talk about it, it's even more bullshit. It's the same as the voter fraud that he clamors about. Every time they look, they find Trump like voters that voted 2-3 times. Every time they do a recount, they find more Biden votes that should have been counted, and they get rid of a bunch of Trump votes that were counted twice.
But had that story come out, and then now 2 weeks ago, the New York Times came out and essentially admitted that what they did was wrong.
No, they did not. The Washington Post was talking out of their ass, and they still are. And it wouldn't have changed a goddamn thing.
It came out of nowhere with that one, but it would have made a 17-point difference in the election, according to the...
Keep telling yourself that.
The real pollsters. And look, we did so much. I got millions of, we did much better in the second election than we did in the first election. But this would have...
Yes, and so did your opponent. He did better than any other candidate in American history.
17 points additionally in the election. So
yes, don't forget to give a thumbs up and like the show. Just it's right there. Also, if you're watching parts of this later, because we'll chop it up into chunks. If you're watching parts of this later, there's a little like give button or something down there, I think too, where you can support the show if you don't want to. Otherwise, Venmo.
They did. It's probably the largest campaign contribution ever made, if you think about it.
Oh, it's the Zuckerberg stuff.
That's 2 weeks before the election. Yeah.
Yeah. They dumped a fake news story 2 weeks before the election to try and have a Comey moment. It didn't work. Fuck you.
No, it's suppressed. What they're doing is they suppress the vote, and they artificially suppress the vote.
As opposed to naturally suppressing the vote, organically suppressing the vote. We suppress the vote with fiber and vitamin C.
Probably illegally suppress the vote.
Well, if they're suppressing the vote, that would be illegal. They're not, though. So, oops.
Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's a very dangerous thing. And now what they do is they use prosecutors. Look, I've gone through in 5 years more investigations than Al Capone, Jesse James, and Billy the Kid put together.
By the way, somebody told him that, and he's been repeating it. He did it at the rally, too. Sean loves it.
I fly over a Democrat state in my airplane. I end up before a grand jury. It's a disgrace. And you know what? The people of this country aren't going to take it. They're just not going to take it. They've weaponized law enforcement, essentially. They've weaponized.
It's terrible. They're weaponizing law enforcement as opposed to weaponizing followers against law enforcement on January 6th.
The AGs in the states and the attorney generals and the district attorneys. And I mean, it's such a horrible...
By the way, we're almost done. This is almost over. Jesus Christ. I'm running long, but still.
Thing that they're doing. And I just don't think the people of the country are going to take it. But
yeah, we're not going to have a problem with it. You're not going to... Trump's not going to run, and he's not going to, he couldn't even win the primary again. Sorry. He won't win the Republican primary next time if he even decided to win. The only way he could is if everybody backed down and he ran unopposed. At which point he'll brag about the 90% that he got, like Vladimir Putin. And then he would lose the general.
Based on past, I think probably nothing will happen. Look, we also had a chance, but Bill Barr, the Attorney General, didn't want to be impeached. They were vicious with him. They said, we're going to impeach him. They didn't even know why.
All right, again, I don't know when we were screaming impeach Bill Barr until after it was already over.
But they were going to impeach Bill Barr. He didn't want to be impeached. How do you not get impeached? You just sit back and relax and wait out for your term to end, and that's what he did. And it was a sad thing and a sad day for our country. Then he writes a crummy book, which was so false. But you know what? Had Bill Barr had the courage, a lot of the...
Well, if he had the courage, obviously, he wouldn't have written a crappy book that was so sad, I suppose.
Sort of been taken care of.
Well, I'll say this.
The U.S. attorney in Philadelphia said Bill Barr told him not to investigate the fraud in the elections, and he said, don't do it. And he wrote a letter to that effect. And, it's had Bill Barr had the courage to do what he should have done instead of being worried.
Which, of course, is be Donald Trump's personal Roy Cohn instead of represent the interests of the United States in that moment.
Not being impeached. I said, look, get impeached. I went up a lot in the polls when I got impeached. You have to get impeached, maybe. But he was so afraid of being...
Asshole, if he gets impeached, he's just out.
Impeached, that he refused to do his job. And that includes...
So, for the record, Trump was ordering him to get impeached, to violate the law and violate his oath. And, all right.
Some of the things you're talking about.
I would argue we have criminalized political differences, and I do not believe in America today that we have equal justice and equal application of our law.
Yes, Sean Hannity was born a poor black child.
Our mutual friend, the great one, Mark Levin, says,
Mr. Producer, go. Stop it. It's wrong. Everything. This is Joe Biden is a threat to his own family. He's a violent felon who's part of a spider web of criminal activity the world over. He controls everything from the triad to the Russian mafia. He's murder for hire. He's murder incorporated. He's the Clinton body count is the Biden body count now. He does all these things, and also the man can't speak. He can't put a sentence together. He doesn't know where he is. Somebody else is pulling the strings.
It's a post-constitutional America. I would hope that's not.
This is a post-constitutional America. Fuck you. If we were a post-constitutional America, fuckhead, Trump would already be in jail. The new regime would have just locked him the fuck up. Like Trump's supporters were insisting he do. Trump's supporters were yelling what is effectively a battle cry for turning America into a post-constitutional country. What the fuck are you talking? Like, at what point, if that was true at all, his entire family would have had to flee the country in exile like the fucking Shah.
The case, and we can save this great republic. Let me ask you a question. I know you would not answer the question if I ask you now, are you thinking about running again in 2024? I don't think you.
He's thinking about having the runs, Sean.
I don't think you give me the answer, except you probably say.
Well, he can't, because then he would have to stop taking money from the Save America PAC, and he would lose Mar-a-Lago and Bedminster and a couple of his other properties, and he can't afford that right now, Sean.
Very happy with the answer. Some people will be happy with the answer. Okay. Here's my question.
Oh, I'd be very happy with the answer, whichever answer it was, but I know which one it's going to be.
But here's a question I do have for you.
Can you kick my ass?
If you were president, now that you've had some time to reflect on your
because we know what an introspective man you are.
Presidency, and I'm sure you are thinking about whether it's the right thing for you and your family to do.
That's right.
And I know many people in this audience want you to run again.
Oh, yes. Some of us do, but only because it helps us financially to watch you fail.
Question would be just one thing, one that you would do differently.
Yeah, tell us one detail. Give us something of detail. It's been 35 minutes and 3 seconds of you rambling, getting off topic, and fucking around. Give me one goddamn detail I can share with my audience before I broom you because you're boring the fuck out of me.
Well, look, there are many things you do differently. We had an incredible administration with tax cuts and regulation cuts and rebuilding the military and warp speed and
oh, God damn it. He had to throw that. He had to say warp speed again.
Captain's log.
Here we go.
Think of this, just Space Force. We did so many things, but I think
just Space Force. Yes. Greatest, first new addition to military since Ass Force.
First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years, Space Force. Not since the Air Force.
That's right. Not since the Ass Force. You heard that right.
First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years, Space Force. Not since the Air Force.
Not since the Ass Force. It's one of those ones that was kind of just lost. I mean, when you say something like
your sock piles.
I mean, that's like kabam. That's like a mic drop dummy moment.
Your sock piles.
Right? Or
action replays in magnified fashion.
You know what I mean? That's like super clean and you can hear it. It's like Burisma. So Burisma is the company that Hunter Biden worked for. Burisma. It's pronounced Burisma. The name of it is Burisma. It's called Burisma. There's no question. There's no odd pronunciation in French or in Russian or in Ukrainian. And here's Trump trying to say Burisma.
The Burmese executives, so this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
No, they don't, because a couple of moments later, this happened.
The company that his son worked for, that's Burmese.
That's Burmisma. That's Burmisma. The kind of oil you need, the gas that makes you bleed. Thanks for Burmisma. The gas you have at hand, the gas that was never planned. Caught me off guard.
One of the things that I would do differently is, I found the media is so corrupt that I would really not focus on them almost at all. I just focus on getting the job done for the American people.
Wait. So thank you for admitting that you didn't focus on getting the job done for the American people and focused almost entirely on the media aspect of it. What a fucking moron. What the hell? There you go, maggots. Here's your dude. Here's your fucking dude.
Media is so corrupt that I would really not focus on them almost at all. I just focus on getting the job done for the American people. You cater to the media. You deal with the media. They're very dishonest. They write opposite things. They have sources that aren't sources. They're unbelievably dishonest, hence the name fake news. I mean,
if I had my job to do all over again, I think I'd do my job.
News, and I think really I'd focus on getting the job done, getting our country back. Our country.
So you didn't focus on getting the job done. Cool.
It has never been in a worse position than it is right now. We're disrespected all over the world. We no longer have respect. And
yeah, that's not true at all. I mean, obviously, Putin doesn't respect us because, when you were in there, I mean, he always said he would respect you in the morning, but did he really?
I would really be focused on that, just bringing our country back, getting it back to where we had it.
Let me be very clear.
Yes, getting it back to 3,000 dead a day, a runaway pandemic, and in the height of it, when Americans are in food lines selling more food to China than we have ever sold. Who needs beef when people are starving?
That we've never seen. We've never been more respected than we were 2 years ago as a country.
Well, yeah, actually, we have been. I'm just saying they didn't call it Camelot for nothing. Also, the Reagan would like a word. Also, Clinton kind of killing it economically. Also, Obama, huge move forward. By the way, Biden kicking ass.
Am I hearing you right? You would ignore the media for the most part and...
For the most part.
Focus on cleaning up the mess that Joe Biden has created.
No, he didn't say that. He said focus on doing the job that he didn't do while he was president. He spent a lot of time bitching about the press or doing press conferences and yammering and not doing any fucking homework, not doing any of the reading, not understanding any of the fucking issues. And it didn't work. He thought he could he rode the press into the fucking White House. He thought he could ride it into a second term, and it doesn't fucking work that way.
By the way, it's only a year and a couple of months, and all of this damage has been done. There's going to be an...
Yeah, can you imagine what it's going to be like when the infrastructure projects start? Fuck.
A lot of work to do. I would argue on the one hand, it's simple. Bring back your border policies. Bring back your economic policies. Bring back your energy policies.
Yeah, bring back you. Bring back Jared and Ivanka making billions of dollars.
Back your peace through strength policies.
Your peace through strength policies.
If you brought all of those things back, law and order, for example.
Yeah, bring back law and order, because there's certainly, the nice thing was, remember, say what you will about 2020, but at least there wasn't violence in the streets.
Wouldn't it be a fairly quick change, dramatic change?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a fucking light switch.
Year into a second term, wouldn't that be dramatically, wouldn't this be a dramatically different America? We have about a minute.
Well, yeah. Well, you think you could fix things, but it would really take a long time. I probably need a do-over and another 4 years.
Energy has to come back, and the energy can come back and can come back very strongly. I don't know if you've ever heard the term dig we must. Dig we must.
Have you guys ever heard that? You guys know that term, right? Dig we must. Remember that phrase? That old chestnut? What?
Come back very strongly. I don't know if you've ever heard the term dig we must. Dig we must. It's a great term. And that's what we have to do. We have to get...
I don't know if you've ever heard the term dig dug, but, very big term in the 80s. Dick Weemus. Yeah, that was a guy who was the head of the Fed in the 20s.
Energy back. We have to get the prices way.
What the fuck is dig we must? Was he searching in his head for drill baby drill? Dig we must? I mean, we were doing that when, indigent people and homeless people were dying of COVID in mass. Dig we must. Dickweed must. Dickweed? Musty dickweed? What? You know the phrase. You know that, yeah. More Trump colloquialisms.
The energy has to come back, and the energy can come back and can come back very strongly. I don't know if you've ever heard the term dig we must. Dig we must. It's a great term, and that's what we have to do.
It totally is a great term. I'm going to start using it all the time. Dick Weemus. No. Come on. You can't just make up a phrase because you can't remember the original. He means drill baby drill, doesn't he? He's got to. What dig weed very strongly. Yeah.
We have to get our energy back. We have to get the prices way down. That will make a lot less money for very substantial enemies that we have, and especially if you look at what's happening with Russia, it almost by itself would stop the war. And we have a lot of things we can...
Yeah, but it would also crater the American oil and gas industry too if you got it way down. Is the idea. You can't choose to lower the price of oil in other countries and then not in ours. Like what?
And we can do them fairly quickly. And if we don't do them, we're not going to have a country left. We have to close the borders. We have to let people come in only legally. We have so many things. There has never been such destruction done to this country so quickly.
Well, yeah. I mean, 9/11? No. Pearl Harbor? War of 1812. Civil War. 70s gas crisis. When basically a car's got 7 gallons to the mile.
Mr. President, we always thank you for being with us. I can say that
we always thank you for being with this, but this time we're going to make an exception.
Last thing, you've been on the phone with us about 40 minutes, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Do you ever think you'd actually get in front of a fucking Zoom camera, you lazy son of a bitch, and stop phoning it in? Draw for us a mental picture, Mr. President, of where you are, because I'm such a huge fan. Satin pajamas covered in Cheeto dust, weird stains on your pants, feet sticking out of the bottom of the covers, empty row of Oreos next to you, TV on with yourself on it, watch it
And I could tell this country that Joe Biden would be totally, completely, utterly incapable of a discussion like this. That speaks volumes. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
Well, that's true. That's true. Not entirely, Sean. That's not fair. I don't think Biden could do this, have this kind of a conversation unless you deprived him of oxygen for a very long time. And I'm sorry, but the Secret Service is not going to allow that to happen. And I don't think he drinks enough to sound as drunk as Trump does. So, yeah, you're right. You're right. Biden would never be able to have a conversation like this because as a human being, most of us can't. But most of us, I would find it very difficult to put this much gibberish out in 38 minutes. It would be, that'd be a fucking job.
All right, that's all the time we have left this evening. Please set your campaign. Joining us live.
Ate the whole fucking show. Trump came in, ate his show. By the way, thanks guys for being with me. I had Greg Kelly, I had Glenn Beck, I had a Jimmy Dore clip, I had fucking Frank's speech. I might have to add an extra show or something tomorrow and get through this stuff. Fucking hell. But remember, dig we must. Dig we must. Dig we must. This is, I mean, that's from, of course, I think Aristotle said that when someone asked him, if you're not going to swim at the beach and you don't like hot dogs, what are you going to do in the sand? Dig we must. Apparently, no, it was Yoda trying to say we must dig. Must we dig? Dig we must. Shit. All right, I have to let you guys go because I feed my girl, and then we're gonna go to some sort of thing that I get invited to sporadically. Remember, Dick Weemus. Dick, what is that? The phrase? Dick Cheese was Dick Cheese Whiz. Dick Cheese Whiz signing off. See you tomorrow, everybody. I'm Dick Cheese Whiz. You stay classy, Mega Worldwide. Bye.